Many people do not go there anymore to hunt. Many people do not go there anymore to do vision quests, to do gathering of herbs, plants, roots, barks, all this other stuff we do. People do not go to fish over there anymore because of the dangers that are there.
Let me walk in beauty and make my eyes ever behold the red and purple sunset. Make my hands respect the things you have made, and my ears sharp to hear your voice. Make me wise so that I may understand the things you have taught my people. Let me learn the lessons you have hidden in every leaf and rock. Tapi not done. Speho makawih paksamuk, ikutafka nagataskia, iskos kanoya pisat tat kis paksamo. Mtahta kawih pinat, ikuyam soat yiga kway toni pius istaman, mtanek sike.
Now, and this is a Chem Security's own report. They're saying 74 pounds a year of PCBs are going into the whole area. My God, that has been happening for the last 2 or 3 years. So it's a lot bigger than we thought. And if through experience with Chem Security, they have not told us the truth in many cases. And if they're only saying 74, what if there's more? We don't know, but we don't know that for sure. And that also last week, one of the workers from Regional Council told me that there's a fellow from Driftpile that killed 2 moose, and they found that when they cut it open, the guts are all rotted in that. I asked Gerald Giroux here to come with us. Now he saw the deer on July the 3rd. July the 3rd of Smoke St. Pahat.
I took that meat and I made a big fire and I burnt it all up, because I didn't know what else to do with it. I lived under this reserve all of my life. That's always been our territory. It always has been.
In 1980, it was recommended that the province put a system in place to deal with PCBs and other hazardous waste. In typical fashion, the Alberta government saw an opportunity to develop a mega project at the same time. The Alberta Special Waste Treatment Centre has been steeped in controversy since the beginning. The deal itself was criticized for providing a guaranteed rate of return to the private partners, Bow Valley Resources. And there has always been speculation that the long-term strategy might be to import hazardous waste from other provinces. The location of the facility, far from any major centers, was also questioned. But an issue that has not gotten as much press is the fact that the site, at Alberta's highest point east of the Rocky Mountains, is in the center of what has been Indian territory for thousands of years. The Lesser Slave Lake Indian Regional Council represents the 9 Alberta First Nations within Treaty 8. Jim Badger is the Grand Chief. He is also chief of his own band, the Sucker Creek First Nation. For 4 years now, he has been doing battle with Chem Security, operators of the treatment center. This is a war on paper, fought with statistics, laws, and scientific data. Yet as the chief sees it, the stakes haven't changed. The lives and lifestyles of his people are on the line, and he is losing.
As a people, we've always hunted in those areas. Many of our people have trap lines in the immediate area, yet the NRCB board says we're not directly affected. And I say, well, who if we aren't? It doesn't make sense at all to me. We do not benefit at all from it. No Indian person does. I don't think they even hire Indians over there. That's how bad it is.
I don't think we have one person working from the community of Sucker Creek working in Swan Hills. I don't think we have one contractor doing any work for Swan Hills Waste Plant. There has been no positive impact from the Swan Hills plant in terms of spin-off or of any sort.
I believe that the intentions that originally motivated the development of the Alberta Special Waste Treatment System were good. I believe that we wanted to take responsibility for the hazardous wastes that Alberta had generated. Along the way, a lot of things sort of went awry. Conceptually, incineration is meant to reduce toxic waste streams into less toxic or non-toxic forms. Ideally, the process would go, simple hydrocarbons are broken down through a combustion process into carbon dioxide and water, which would be relatively benign products. That's the way it would work in a perfect world. But the reality of the situation is you have products of incomplete combustion where the substances aren't completely burned, and you get a more complex chemical reaction where you're actually producing byproducts which may be more toxic than the wastes that you actually started with.
I am very concerned about the environment and what effects that plant is having on our wildlife. At one time, I was a trapper. I've trapped in my life. I was a registered guide. Last summer, on July the 3rd, my boy had phoned me and wanted me to go pick him up. So I went. He was over in the valley, which is just before you get to Swan Hills, and I went over there and I took my rifle, and along the way there was a deer, a buck deer, and I shot him, and I went and got my boy and I got him to help me put it in the trunk, and we took it home, and I skinned it. I couldn't see nothing wrong with the meat, but my boy wanted to tan the hide. He wanted to learn how to tan the hide. So I said, well, okay, what you got to do is you got to take out the brain from that deer and just to soften the hide. So when I went and I let him try to do it first, but he was having a lot of problems. So I said, this is how you do it. And when I cut in there, there was just a sight I'd never seen before in my life. There was worms, some sort of a worm in his brain.
The worst sort of chemical pollution to be released into the environment are substances that possess three chemical properties: persistence, bioaccumulative properties, and toxic properties. What this means is persistent chemicals are ones that resist degradation in the environment. They don't break down into other forms. Bioaccumulation is the tendency for substances to collect in the tissues of living organisms in one respect, and they also collect as you move up trophic levels in the food chain. So that means that a certain population of, say, insects, each individual insect will have a very low concentration of a pollutant in its system, but a bird that feeds on insects will have a much greater volume of these substances when it's in its tissues. And toxicity is the kind of poisonous response that an organism will have to a substance, so its capacity to cause a toxic effect. So anything that exhibits all of those properties is probably the worst of the worst. Examples of a persistent bioaccumulative substance are chlorinated organic substances such as PCBs, dioxins, heavy metals. All of these things show all these properties.